wonder how many people are gonna drop by. I can only assure you that the people that subbed to me in the first place are probably gonna be wondering what the hell this is. Super Mario Physicist told me I wouldn't regret purchasing this. I spent 48 bucks on it. I'm just gonna repeat this again, but I've been informed that this is a very, very long visual novel. I could likely just be spending months playing this, especially if I don't do so regularly. So we're going to continue from where we left off. Also, some questionable scene might come up soon. Physicists warned me about this beforehand. When it does show up, I'll do my best to judge whether or not it's fit to be shown on YouTube. If not, then I could always just hide the game like so. And even then, I could just crop out the bit that does get shown by accident. Stream would be unlisted. Before I make it public again, I just trim out anything that might not be suitable for YouTube. Okay, why is this scene titled School Killer Yumiko? Oh, that's the chick that didn't want to talk to me at first. She's the one that didn't want to talk. They say it's always best to arrive 20 minutes early, but preparing for a class takes 60 seconds at most. After that, there's not much to do other than wander around awkwardly. Still, I've always imagined school life as a fairly relaxed experience. A part of me was actually wondering if a little aimless downtime might be enjoyable in its way. But unfortunately... What? Again? What? Oh, she's got a knife and... looks like she's gonna swing it at my guy. That slightly pitiful fantasy was shouted all too quickly. Purple hair, nice rack, a knife. I totally feel like I'm looking at Yuri here. This has gotta be Yuri, but in some alternate universe. Oh, hi there, Baker. This is not Doki Doki Literature Club, this is another visual novel known as Fruit of Grisaia, but... I just can't get over how much this girl in front of me looks like Yuri from DDLC. Purple hair, knife, and everything. Of course, I'm not going to break a sweat from any attack of Yumiko's, but being slashed at with a blade isn't the kind of pleasant breather I had in mind. How'd you dodge that? I guess she thought it out. She thought it was a particularly well-timed attack, judging from the shocked gaze she's directing at me as she catches her breath. Of course, given the conspicuous clicking sound and their plainly audible footsteps, she might as well have been screaming, "Here I come," but time moves at half speed in my immediate vicinity. Giving a straight answer would be a pain, so I pull something out of my ass. Huh? No way! Yeah, I'm just screwing with you. Make a fool of me, will you? You'll pay for that. Maybe it's just me, but I think trying to stab your classmate is somewhat worse. It's not a crime until you actually get stabbed. Oh, really now? I mean, come on. She's got a point. You don't win a Nobel Prize for attempted science. This woman's copy of the criminal code seems to be missing the page on attempted murder. What, you don't get Nobel Prizes for an attempted science? But judging from the way she momentarily bought my nonsense, she's unexpectedly airheaded. Maybe a bit naive would be the nicer way to put it. You better remember my face. There's only 6 of us here. It would be harder to forget. You're making a fool of me again. That's not what I meant! Still glaring in my direction, Yumiko retracts the blade of her box cutter. Oh, so... special type of knife. One that Yuri also had in the Doki Doki mod that was heavily inspired by Fruits of Grisaia, with the one that American Eagle made. Saw plenty of mentions of this box cutter that Yuri had. It didn't take long for you to land yourself in a mess, Yuji-kun. Certainly. When I return to the classroom, Amane strikes up a conversation. I guess the story of the knife assault in question has already spread around the classroom, as my problem with Yumiko seems to be common knowledge. It's not like she's doing me any harm, but I can't say I'm enjoying this. Oh, really now? In our first encounter, I approached the stubbornly silent Yumiko in a physical sense. The outcome was her initial act of rejection. In part, that might have been the result of my own heightened wariness. Sachi's heavy-handed foreshadowing put me on guard, and I have a tendency to not to trust someone I'm meeting for the first time. At that time, while I certainly felt animosity from her, It wasn't so intense as to discourage me from approaching. However, from our second encounter on, Yumiko bared open hostility towards me. What's worse, apparently having come to the conclusion that she wasn't a match for me barehanded, she's been swinging around a box cutter of all things. According to Amane, it seems that Yumiko has something of a habit of brandishing retractable knives at people. Okay, so possibly an even more psychotic Yuri. Of course, her goal is usually more intimidation than anything else, but speaking as the target this time, I can sense there's a part of her that's seriously trying to stab me. It's not the best feeling in the world. Maybe she's recognized you as a rival? She does threaten us with her box cutter sometimes, but she never slashes at us for real like that. I really prefer to avoid that kind of recognition. It's your own fault for approaching her all of a sudden. Didn't you realize it when you got near? She's got that glaringly obvious barrier around her personal space. Didn't notice. You look pretty strong, but that thick-headedness might prove fatal. I'm pretty perceptive when my life's in danger, but I don't really feel that level of threat from Yumiko. Yujiko, I'm not feeling confident about your future love life. My master did say I was exceptionally unskilled in that department. Master? At any rate, I want to do something about Yumiko's aggressive rejection of me. For that purpose, I'll need to talk to someone familiar with her circumstances. Alright, we're beginning homeroom. Must be a really tiny attendance book. It must be no bigger than something like this. A tiny little memo book she must be carrying around for attendance. With like only 6 students enrolled in this whole school. Wait, how many classrooms are there? If there's seriously only 6 students in the school, then I'm trying to just imagine dozens upon dozens of vacant classrooms that just never get used. And maybe this is the only classroom that ever sees use here. I guess Chizuru is the only one I can ask. Oh, that's the principal, isn't it? In conclusion, Yumiko seems to hate me with a passion. I think I can understand why someone may hate you. Oh, let's hear it then. Oh, yourself. I couldn't think of anyone else to ask, and you've probably got the free time anyway? Bad enough you barged into my office. Did you really need to insult me to my face as well? I only said what I was thinking. Was I wrong? Of course you were. More or less. In deference to your feelings, no matter how much I think you're lazing around, I'll keep it quietly buried in my heart from now on. Good enough? Going out of your way to tell me that is just going to make me worry about it every time we talk. What do you want from me? Spare me the vague complaints. What's your pleasure? And he wonders why people hate him. Do you have an idea? Just forget it. As for the answer to your original question, Sakaki-san has been a student of the academy since it was founded. This place just opened recently, right? Fairly recently. It was established just about a year ago. So, not that long. She's been here since then. A year. What does that have to do with her rejecting me? Before responding to my question, she takes a sip of coffee from the cup in her hand. It's frightening to have an intruder enter your territory. Frightening? Absolutely. Until now, there'd only been people she could understand here. And now there's a suspicious member of the opposite sex approaching her. Oh, that makes sense. Principal Tachibana takes a pen in her empty hand and jabs it towards me to emphasize her point. Therefore, she's trying to eliminate that intruder, I would think. I love how she literally just says this with a smile on her face. She's trying to kill you! Hazing, is it? A bit of bullying comes with being a fresh recruit, but I didn't expect the same here. If this is bullying, I don't think I've ever seen a stranger case. Apparently unconvinced by the idea of Sakaki stealing my lunch money, Principal Tachibana hides a snort of laughter behind her hand. Although it's certainly amusing considering the balance of our physical strength, I don't see how I can manage a decent student life at this rate. I'm honored to have provided the moment of amusement for our perpetually overworked principal. but I came here hoping to have a path toward overcoming this challenge illuminated by your educational guidance. It feels more like you came here to bully me. Cranky from beginning to end, ultimately the principal didn't provide me with any useful advice. This is what a school is like, so figure it out for yourself. A normal school life means a few problems like this. I do have to admit she dodged the issue reasonably well with that last line. In any case, since she didn't have any clear answer for me, I'm left with no choice but to do as she says and try to work on this over time. It's not really my style to go with the flow like this, but if that's the proposal of my educational guide, there's no helping it. It looks like a sparring match at this point between the protagonist and the girl with the knife. More like a drill instructor playing with a fresh recruit. I was all aflutter at first, but I can't muster the slightest concern anymore. How do you keep the result of going with the flow? Yumiko's attacks have been continuing without any particular change to date. It's Yuji's fault for playing along. Look, could you quit it already? Shut up! Her movements thrown off by my sudden sidestep, Yumiko staggers forward unsteadily. She tries desperately to regain her balance, resulting in a ridiculous pose in strong contrast for the usual haughty demeanor. Michiru lets out an involuntary giggle at this point. She's instantly pierced by Yumiko's furious glare. Eek! Sorry! What a wimp. Ignoring Michiru, she cowers behind her desk. Yumiko storms out of the classroom in a towering rage. There she goes. Feels like we've been watching reruns for a while now. This is so scary. What's with that glare? I can't even move when she does that. Kirichiru would be paying for that one in blood. Quit it, Makina! Don't worry, this'll be fun! For who? Scenes like this were one very familiar by now. With the exception of Michiru, everyone seems perfectly calm. Even if this little routine doesn't bother them, as a directly concerned party, it's problematic. Hey, Amane. In response to my call, she points to herself with her index finger, silently asking me? When I nod, she approaches in her usual pointlessly sexy way. What's up? Did all that play fighting with Sakaki-san wear you out? Finally ready to seek comfort in my bosom? I'm sorry, do you actually want me to treat you like a sex worker? If you ask real nice, I might not mind every once in a while. Oh, all of a sudden. How long has Kazami even been at the academy? Like, what, 2 days, and Amani's already asking to be treated like a sex worker on the occasion? I'll be sure to keep that offer in mind, but that's not what I need today. Okay, so what then? You've known her, Yumiko, for a long time, right? Well, I've certainly known her for a little longer than the others have, but... Any ideas about the reason she's rejecting me this intensely? Sorry, I don't know. That's kind of how she is, you know. To be honest, I haven't had many chances to talk with her, except about practical stuff. I see. You did just get here, so maybe you'll gradually be able to talk to her, but at the moment I'm practically still at the default state with her myself. Certainly, Yumiko hardly seems the type to open up and reveal herself to someone just because they've known each other a while. I guess I'll have to find a solution myself after all. Thanks anyway. Let me know if anything comes to mind. With those words, I move to exit the classroom. If Yumiko's rejection continues to take this form, I'll have no choice but to ask the principal's advice again. At the moment, I open the door and prepare to leave. Maybe she doesn't see you as one of us. I stop at the sound of Amane's voice. Yuji-kun, you came in here from the outside. She might be thinking of you as an intruder because of that. She's saying the same things as the principal, huh? Does it feel that way to you as well, Amane? Not at all. I'm your fervent supporter. It's a little hard to take that seriously given the flow of this conversation. I think the war might end if you make her think of you as one of us. I return to the dorm and wander the hallways without any particular objective. Compared to shutting myself up alone in my room, it's easier to gather my thoughts. One of the group, huh? Parting words. Easy for her to say, but actually getting that island of a human being to recognize me as a friend seems next to impossible. First of all, we're not even on speaking terms yet. I wouldn't know what to do. Yeah, it honestly seems hopeless. But why do I feel like he's just gonna find a way? And it's already late. Time to return to his room. Try talking to her tomorrow. Yumiko might have her own set of internal rules, since she hasn't tried to attack me even once while inside the dorm. It's not that I was particularly off my guard as a result of that assumption. Rather, it was probably because it happened at this particular time of day. Or so I would reflect to myself later. Evening. A hallway in the dormitory lit by the setting sun. At the flash of thrusting light, I react instinctively and grab her arm firmly. Huh? With her arm captured, Yumiko's face stiffens. The box cutter, blade still extended, rattles around at her feet, turning in circles around the handle. Trying for the element of surprise? Yumiko's expression changes from shock to fear. That's what tips me off that I'm not wearing my peaceful face. Sorry. That came out of nowhere, so I couldn't hold back. I didn't want to frighten her. I thought I could play the normal student. I want to convince myself that I could. Look, Yumiko. I'm not your enemy. Yumiko's expression betrays uncertainty for just a moment. But just as quickly, it settles back into her customary mask. But it doesn't look like you're convinced of that yet, so let me say one thing. Releasing her arm, I pick up the box cutter lying in front of her feet. Carefully retracting the blade, I hold it out to Yumiko. I won't cause you harm, and I won't pry into your business, either. That's a promise, so stop this. It's pointless. Observe me and reach your own conclusions. If I'm lying, you can always try stabbing me again. Stumbling, Yumiko retreats a single step. Bye. Turning around, I return to my room. Normally, Yumiko would seize such a chance to attack, but something's different now. Her elongated shadow is still, and the hallway is silent except for the small sound of her breathing. Okay, so is that a good thing? Oh, physicist, hi there. After that day, Yumiko's attacks came to an abrupt halt. Hopefully I can use this as an opportunity to slightly improve our relationship. I'm trying to live a normal campus life, so it would be nice to minimize the number of classmates who want me dead. What'd you miss? One of the students wants my guy dead, apparently. Specifically Yumiko just trying to brandish her knife at the main character on several occasions. Could be maybe because she's afraid of him? I mean, he is new to the school, like he just got here like 2 days ago. Yes, Yumiko. I mean, he just got here like 2 days ago, so that's a possible theory. Yo. As usual, to call Yumiko's behavior when we come across each other curt would be an understatement. But at the very least, judging from the clearly different way she's looking at me, her observation period seems to be ongoing. I want to ask you something. I'll answer unless you want to know my weaknesses. That was the question. What a shame. Come up with something else. She occasionally talks to me like this, but instead of friendly chats about our lunch plans, we have investigative inquiries and careful negotiations. Even so, I suppose it's a considerable improvement over outright bloodshed. I'll find your Achilles heel someday. Is that your idea of social interaction between classmates? I haven't acknowledged you as my classmate yet. Right then. I open my hands in an exaggerated, American-style shrug. Well, good luck to you, Yumiko. I think it's time to leave before she starts probing any further. Look, you. Stop calling me by my first name already. Seems like she's hung up on that point. After those events, I've been intentionally addressing Yumiko by her first name. the family name would actually be more appropriate here, but I've got a bit of a reason for doing this. Says the woman who's never referred to me as anything but you? Even so, that doesn't mean you get to start addressing me however you please. So you're saying as classmates we should both use last names? Yumiko's expression clearly reads, "Oh crap." But what makes you think I'm going to address you as my equal? Isn't that the starting point for building a cordial relationship? Even so. Alright, in that case I'll take our friendship to the next level by making up a pleasant nickname for you. Not to worry, you can do the same for me. It might be a little early for that, so I propose starting with last names. But before long, she opens her mouth stiffly in a tight voice. Best regards, Kazami-kun. After speaking those words with a cramped attempt at a smile, she stalks off. Yeah, best regards, Sakaki. Thus, after great hardship, I finally succeeded in establishing an absolute minimum level of communication with my 5th classmate. Seems the student life thing is pretty rough in its own way. School dormitory lobby. When I push open the heavy glass doors, I find the lobby in utter silence. Exchanging my outdoor shoes for the slippers I use in my room. I reach for the board hanging above the shoe racks, and flip the magnetic name tag reading Kazami Yuji from out to in. A glance at the other name tags reveal that Sakaki, Sachi, and Amane are all in. But there's no one in the lobby. They're probably shut up in their rooms doing homework. Hold on. There wasn't any homework assigned today, which would mean my hypothesis just now can't be accurate. Then what? When students shut themselves up in their rooms, homework and masturbation are the only things that come to mind. Although I gave the matter a little thought, I don't plan on going around and confirming my new conjecture. Okay, so stop here, right? So, you think we're gonna walk in on someone masturbating. This is it. It's just a guess, and no matter what sort of vile filth they're getting off to, that's their prerogative. In this case, pretending not to notice would be the kinder thing. Having reached that conclusion, I reach out to the door of my room, but he's gonna go into his room. In doing so, I notice that the bit of tape I stuck on my door as a seal has been ripped off. Someone's in the room. Get ready. Backing away from the D. Surprise party? No, no, no! Don't delete this save! Don't delete it! Oh. I can't hear any noises from inside. Black it out just in case. Okay, I guess I will. It doesn't seem like a typhoon is laying waste to the room in my absence, but either way, if it's someone stupid enough to miss the tape, no need to be careful. I forcefully swing open the door to my room. Don't move. You surprised me. Don't open the door all of a sudden. Black it out just in case. Okay, I thought it was going to be more explicit than this in all honesty. Leave it on or not? Fuck it, I might be able to get away with this. I mean, some fucking asshole by the name of J-Station can literally fake his girlfriend's death, and people are still trying to get him banned. What are you doing in here? Who called me a stripper? It's not my birthday, you got the wrong room. Sorry, that's a new one. At your previous school, was a stripper in your dorm room the standard birthday surprise? What? It's just Amane. Why are you in my room? Why, you ask? I change my clothes in this room pretty frequently. Amane points to a large overnight bag lying on the floor, presumably containing her spare clothes. This room is the only one with this large refrigerator. When I make a big shopping trip or whatever, I always use the fridge in here. Sounds like you're doing more than just using the fridge. Because you burst in here all of a sudden when I was changing clothes. When I want to go shopping after school, this is where I change. You got your own room, right? It's on the 2nd floor. Too much effort. When I was a grade schooler, I had friends who'd throw their bags by the door after school so they could get their back outside faster. I guess this woman's brain works on the same level? So, mind if I finish changing? I suppose. How about you come inside instead of standing there? I'll come in whether you invite me or not. It's my room. I walk into the room. Hold a glass under the faucet in the sink and fill it with tap water. Hey. What? I swig down tepid water from the glass. Normally, would you actually? Seems we won't have to worry about not safe for work scenes anymore. Okay, so in the version you saw, not the version you play, but in the version you saw someone play. Wait, is there like an alternate version of Fruits of Grisaia where she's actually naked and not just in her underwear? Like, maybe I have the version where she's not fully naked. So I could probably at least get away with showing this and not get a strike. I mean, if she was completely naked, then that would be like a different story. And she's halfway there, though. Actually, what? Your sense is missing both a verb and an object. Well, you know, a girl's getting changed in here, right? Wouldn't you excuse yourself normally? The base game is where she's naked. At this scene in the game, right? So this isn't the version of the game I have, clearly. Not completely, at least. I'm not a normal man, and you were the one who barged into my room. That's true, but if you don't want to be seen, how about being frank about it and telling me to get out? Rude. My body's not something I need to hide. Want me to stick a 20 in your panties? I think I told you that I'm not a stripper already. If you say so. You seem pretty used to this. That's my line. How am I supposed to keep my cool with you staring at me like an old man watching baseball with a beer in his hand? The story is still the same. Yeah, if they don't fuck up the story, then I really won't mind. Call me when you're done changing. Don't bother, I'll be done in a minute. What a troublesome woman. What do you want from me? I want you to stay there and shut up. Nice tits. I didn't ask for your thoughts. Returning my empty glass to the sink, I turn my back on Amane for the moment. Breaking into my room if she pleases, throwing her tits around if she pleases, and then getting pissed at me if she pleases. I don't have any real obligation to be considerate of someone like that, but well, this kind of thoughtfulness is what keeps society moving smoothly. Hey, Yuji-kun. What? You seem pretty used to women. Do you have an older sister or something? I did have one. You had one? Meaning you don't anymore? She's dead. I see. I'm sorry, that was thoughtless of me. It's been years. Not a problem. In that case, do you mind if I ask you one more thoughtless question? What? What was your sister's name? Kazuki. Kazuki? I know, kind of weird name for a girl. It's actually written with the characters for one and princess. That really is an unusual name. Why do you ask? No reason, just a little curious. I see. My sister is a topic I'd prefer to avoid as much as possible. Not because it's too painful to remember death or anything sentimental like that, I just don't want to get in a heavy mood for no good reason. Maybe Amane picked up on my reaction since she doesn't ask anything else about the subject. Although she's a troublesome, selfish woman, I can honestly appreciate that part of her. Thanks for waiting! I'm done changing! I wasn't really waiting. Well, what do you think? Okay, so Fruit of Grisaia. I'm gonna see if I can actually find... Well, of course I'm not gonna show it on screen, but I wanna see if I can actually find the CG with her naked. Amane. Was it? Amane. Where's the CG with her naked? I wanna see if I can quickly find it in Google Images here. See if I can actually match it with what I just... Well, with the censored version anyways. Okay, I guess I maybe have to look harder. Probably gonna want to just look some other time. I I just want to see if I can find an uncensored version of that scene where I just walk in toward changing. Just so I can compare the two side by side. Go to Bossquart's channel if I want to find it. For maybe like a split second, perhaps. I'll do that later. Now that I look, Amane's wearing a pointlessly skimpy outfit. Even if it is summer, this is a bit over the top. Too much exposure. Your breasts are barely staying in that thing. Ah, it's fine. I've got the goods, so wouldn't it be a waste of resources to not show off a bit? A waste of resources? When I wear this to the shopping district, for some strange reason, everyone throws in a lot of freebies. Ah, this woman's trying to disrupt the economy of the shopping district via her tits? What's ah supposed to mean? Nothing at all. If you're done, hurry up and go. The dirty old men at the shopping district are clutching their 20s in anticipation. Right, you are. Let's go then. As she speaks, Amane grabs my arm like a border patrol agent, seizing an illegal immigrant from Mexico. This might be like one of the best lines we're gonna see in this whole goddamn novel here. What are you trying to pull? Get off. Come on, let's go shopping together. Why do I have to come? I'm buying 10 kilos of rice today, so you're going to help me carry it. Even if you don't rope me into this, with that huge body, 10 kilos shouldn't be an issue. Or so I thought, but courteously didn't put into words. We are dealing with a woman here, technically speaking. In the first place, she's only large for a woman. I'm 8 or 9 centimeters taller. I guess Amane's gotten sick of me staring at her silently as she jerks me closer by the arm she's grasping. I let you see my breasts. A little shopping isn't exactly a bad trade, is it? I don't remember asking to see your breasts. This woman's logic is completely incoherent. What? You look dissatisfied. If just the look isn't enough, want to squeeze them? Just a light massage, mind you? If you think a flash of your tits will make any man do your bidding, you got another thing coming. Come on now. You have anything better to do? We didn't have any guys at the school before, so all the heavy labor went to me, you know? Don't you feel some pity? When you got a physique like that, I think it's probably inevitable. I look forward to making you change light bulbs for me. Well, let's go! As she speaks, Amane entwines herself around my arm, pushing her famous breasts onto me. Hey! You might not guess it, but I'm the daughter of an old-school respectable family. By all rights, the price for seeing me naked would be a shotgun wedding. The fact that I just spent a good second thinking about anti-helicopter mines is, frankly, completely ridiculous. What the hell is anti-helicopter mines? But the world has been seeming like an extremely ridiculous place recently. No point getting too down on myself. Just carry the rice, right? That's the spirit. You should have just guessed from the start. You would have won some points for sweetness. I've heard it's better not to be loved by God or big women if you want a long life. From who? Just a joke. Let's get going already. Let go of my arm. I don't need you clinging all over me. It's stifling. You know you'll like it. What's this? Yuji-kun, you smell kinda nice. You wearing cologne or something? Don't press your nose against me and snuffle. You're not a dog. Ow! Honestly, carrying some rice isn't really that big a deal, but if I'd agreed from the start to save myself the effort of resistance, it's easy to see she'd take that as a license to push increasingly unreasonable requests on me. If you're smart, you start rejecting people's requests at 80% of your real tolerance level. Central Shopping Street. Women's shopping methods can be broken down into two patterns. Type A throws anything that catches her eye into her cart, whether or not she has any need for it. Type B deliberates endlessly over cost efficiency even when she has a pressing need, and ends up buying nothing. My impression of the woman named Amane was that she was likely the careless sort who would follow the former pattern, but apparently I'm not much of a judge of that character. Okay, shall we hit the greengrocer next? What? You still buying? If you need vegetables, why didn't you get them all at the supermarket just now? Because the greengrocer is cheaper than the supermarket. I understand in theory that specialty shops are better than general retailers, but as the one being dragged around, changing stores this rapidly is a serious nuisance. Because Amane mentioned she wanted to buy oolong tea. I'd reach out for a 2-liter, 158 yen bottle at the supermarket, only to have her slap my hand firmly away. In the woman's own words, "Don't buy that here. Get tea packs at the drugstore and you can make 52 liters for 480 yen. And so I ended up having to tag along to the drugstore as well. "Excuse me, some carrots and onions, please." "Oh, Fizz, isn't Amane-chan. You're cute as always." "Aren't I? Hey, how about a little bonus? I won't tell the wife." Can't beat that, Amane-chan. Alright, I'll throw in a pack of strawberries. Don't tell anyone, okay? You're the best. Makina really loves strawberries, you know? Come to mention it. Makibu isn't with you today. What's up? I bought rice today too, so I brought along a tough luggage boy. Please don't kill me, anyone who's Japanese. Growling, the dirty old greengrocer sizes up with a blatant scowl on his face. What's with this guy? I don't like the look of his face. Don't be mean, he's my little brother. Brother? What? Your brother? Hiro was thinking Amane-chan started dating some worthless bum. Looking at me jumping to conclusions. That evil laugh. I'm not sure what's so funny, but the greengrocer cackles hardly as he stares into my face. "Hey kid, what's your name?" "Yuji." "Ah, Yuji, is it? Not a bad name. Good job helping your big sister out. Alright, I'll give you strawberries too, so eat them. You're not getting enough vitamins, that's why you've got a face like a murderer. They're brand name strawberries from Togichi, you know? Eat! Eat!" Thank you. I smile and lower my head in a slight bow, prompting the old man to shout, "What? You can smile after all?" in an even louder voice. "Arigato. Yeah, come back soon. I've got more freebies waiting. You too, Yuji." "Of course. Thank you." Can you quit it with that face? What are you talking about? That crappy excuse for a smile. It looks like a face someone taught you to make. You're strangely perceptive at times. Look, you lie with your face like that sometimes, don't you? Run in your family or something? Fake smiles are an expression of consideration for others. You want me to scowl instead? And at least smile a little more believably. It's completely blatant. I was taught that children's smiles and women's tears are weapons. But this is the first time my own emotional front was penetrated like this. I may have been underestimating this woman. And now you're making that scary face again. That's why Makina's terrified of you, you know? I was born with this face. So is your sister born with that face as well? My sister was, yeah, well, in her case. She always had the sleepy expression. Oh, that's so? Why bring up my sister there? Just came to mind. More importantly, are we finished with shopping yet? Just have to pick up silken tofu and shirataki noodles at the tofu store. We're still not done? But in the end, I ended up following her around for a good 2 hours. Thanks for helping with the shopping, you were a big help. As she speaks, Amane is packing away the ingredients she purchased, for some reason, into my refrigerator. I usually go with Makina, you know? This thing is, when I'm shopping with her, we tend to get sidetracked at the candy counter or toy stores or whatever. Ends up taking a lot longer. It's not a problem, but mind if I ask you something? Why are you putting that stuff into the fridge in my room? The fridge is the biggest one in his room? That's not an answer to the question. Come on, it's not like you're putting it to good use now, are you? Here, I'll give you a strawberry. That's from the pack that old man at the greengrocers gave to me. You got it because I was there. I'll let you drink the milk in the fridge, okay? It's not that I particularly care about her using the fridge, but her barging in here every time she needs to get something would be a pain in the ass. I know. And thanks for today. How about I make you dinner? I've already cooked rice and I've got canned food for the side dishes, so I'll pass. Canned food? That sounds pretty miserable. And the rice? You don't even have a cooker in here, so how are you preparing it? Using that over there. I point toward a cylindrical mess kit style rice cooker made of aluminum, currently towering over the IH cooking heater in my kitchen. Huh? You're cooking with a mess kit? IH heaters can't quite manage aluminum, so I've been using a gasoline stove I had with me instead. Quite the survivalist. You had that stuff lying around? It's only normal for a man to have a stove or two. Normal for a man is probably an overstatement, but it's standard equipment for a backpacker at least. Ideally, you want one that can use the unleaded gasoline you get from gas stations. In that case, why don't you bring what you've made to my room? Nothing but canned food for side dishes is pretty sad, don't you think? I'm making Makina's helping anyway, so let's eat together. I'll pass. Actually quite good at cooking. Makina would be there, wouldn't she? Oh, right. Makina's still scared of you, isn't she? Exactly. I think it'd be better if I wasn't there. How about using this as a chance to become friends? It's not going to happen that fast, and if I go out of my way to eat quietly, she'll end up feeling even more uncomfortable. I'll pass after all. I guess I'll give up on tonight, but once Makina warms up to you, I can make you dinner whenever you want. You telling me to become friends with her in exchange for food? That's not what I meant, but I really would like you to get along with her. She's actually terrible at getting to know people, so maybe you could start the conversation, Yuji-kun? I don't have anything against her, and I don't want to be on hostile terms, so I'll try to talk to her. But I'm not going to guarantee that it's going to improve things. My personality being what it is. Picking up on the words I've left unspoken, Amane answers that's good enough with a smile. Well, thanks for today. Oh, hey, wait! You forgot. The overnight bag packed with her spare clothes is still lying in the center of the room. That woman. She isn't planning to change in my room again, is she? More to the point, I'm sure I locked this door when I left this morning. How did she even get in here? There aren't any signs of damage to the lock, and I can't imagine she's got a secret talent for lockpicking. Does she have a spare key or something? Suo Mane. The creatures known as large women are mostly careless, but weirdly attracted to certain details. They possess unusual intuition, as well as pointlessly large breasts, and on the whole, deserve to be handled with caution. Oh wow, the creatures known as large women. Almost sounds sexist for a moment there. In the time-honored traditions of America, bright red cars are called pony cars because of their reputation as playthings for schoolboys, while yellow models are jackass cars because only morons drive them. A certain German woman I know, whether aware of that or not, deliberately drives a particularly flashy yellow vehicle around. Apparently she very much enjoys the compliments she gets from colleagues at work. Usually some variation of it really suits you. In other words, a stupid car like that is just about right for a dumb blonde. But she hasn't caught on to the fact that she's being mocked, and I've tactfully decided not to inform her either. Probably because she's the dumb blonde. Just like with women who get flattered when someone tells them your dress does wonders for your figure, it's pretty tough to let her know after the fact she's not really being complimented. But sometimes things like this can come back to bite you when you least expect it. Hey, Yuji-kun. There's a foreigner looking over here and waving at us. Someone you know? Don't know her. I don't have any bimbos among my acquaintances. But I'm pretty sure she's waving at you in particular. I told you I don't know her. Probably selling Girl Scout cookies. Say what? Either way, better not get too close. Let's get out of here. JB. She pretty just clearly called your name, you know? Oh, what is that woman thinking? Who is she? I'll explain later. Sorry, but go on ahead. What? You knew her after all? Could it be a loan shark? She's my guardian, or rather my guarantor. Is everything okay? It's fine. Hurry up and take Machina back. I'll be right behind you. I'm just going to say a quick hello. JB. This is his guardian. Look, woman. Heyo, enjoying your school life? Yeah, more or less. You enjoy pretending to be my guardian? You sure have a nasty way of putting things. You're just like Asako in that respect, you know? I'm pretty sure this bimbo here was the inspiration for Julia in Frieza Literature Club. Already getting that feeling that this was like the direct inspiration for Julia. Do I need to have a reason to come see you? I'm technically your guardian, you know? Although I'm grateful that you're acting as a guarantor of my background. I don't need a guardian at my age. Kindly get lost. You're so cold. You're such a sweet little kid, too. If you think you can shut me up by bringing up my childhood, you've got another thing coming. I'll repeat the question. What did you come here for? If it's about work, I thought I had a break for the moment. No. I just wanted to come take a peek at how well you're handling being a normal student in a normal school. There's no problem at present. If you force me to come up with one, you being here would top the list. It's going to be a pain in the ass to make up an excuse when I have to go back to the classroom. Don't increase my workload. We prepared a perfectly straightforward task for you, didn't we? Stick to the script. I'm a distant relative of your mother. I prefer to avoid lying outright where possible. Lies are like colors. The more you pile up, the blacker things get. When it comes to lies, wouldn't Akasaka's red be more appropriate? Get enough of that place and things turn just as black. And that's why you handle things carefully, assuming you're planning on avoiding an accidental death. I don't need you to tell me that. I'm handling this myself, which is precisely why I don't need you giving me surprises like this. Fine. I'll head back for today. What? Are you serious? You really did just come to see me? That's what I said. If we need to talk business, I contacted my cell phone beforehand. Ah, right, the cell phone. Hold it. Don't tell me you're not carrying it! After we got you a separate one for private use on top of the one for work? Sorry, I'll make sure to keep it around from now on. If you don't respond to an attempted contact from us for longer than 15 minutes, they'll have a squad on you for desertion. You do understand that, right? I'm aware. Also, you need to submit a written application in advance if you leave the prefecture. I'm aware of that as well. Oh, that's right! When you came to this place, you walked over the prefectural border. I bought you a train ticket, you know? What the hell was that? I hate trains, as you know. What kind of an idiot walks 200 kilometers for a reason like that? The kind that's standing in front of you. Also, the walk was closer to 175 kilometers. You talk pretty big considering that little trip ended with you in police custody. I'm the one who got crap from the brass, you know? Hey you, stop saying this woman's a pain in the ass with your eyes. You some kind of psychic? How did you read my thoughts? You want me to cry? No, look, I do feel bad about that. I'll apologize nice and slowly over dinner next time, okay? So please leave. If you think you can shut me up by buying me food, you got another thing coming. Not to repeat myself, but if you want to avoid an accidental death, don't do anything too stupid. Understood? Understood. Orders received, Major Haradera. Hey, stop saying, can I hit this guy, just once with your eyes. Are you psychic? Please don't spread it around. It's a pain in the ass to have to bend a spoon every time I introduce myself. You know. I do understand. Don't mind my jokes. Jeez, where do we go wrong in raising you? Such a nasty kid. I get that a lot. Hurry up and get going. You don't have the time to play around here either, do you? Yes, I'm leaving. Not that I need your help managing my time. You're awfully persistent. You're right. My bad, JB. As long as you understand. Well, I'll be in touch. Yeah. I watch as JB turns away and climbs into her car, her blonde hair swinging behind her in waves. As she drives off, I retrieve a cell phone from my school bag. Although I pretended otherwise, I've been carrying my work phone around just as ordered. It's a black, low-profile slide phone I received from JB specifically for company business. I slide the screen up, quickly input the unlock pin and call it the menu screen. Although it looks like a perfectly normal cell phone, any calls made from this machine pass through a special encrypted line. There's only one entry in the contacts. That single number is listed under JB. Julia Bardera. Naturalized name, Harudera Yuria. Oh, so, yep, that's where the Julia name came from. Supervisor / Guardian Julia. If you're going to come, at least give me an advance warning. I had a feeling her first name was going to be Julia, and I was correct. Harudera Yuria, alias JB. As the woman said herself, she's something of a pain in the ass. She'll go nearly half a year without a single call, and then suddenly it's a brisk standby in the designated point, where, of course, she has an incredibly troublesome job waiting to push on me. No, it's almost better when there's actually a job. Sometimes she leaves me at the rendezvous point for more than an hour without any contact, and then when I finally get the call I've been sitting around waiting for, it's a curt situation resolved and I go right back home again. Well, I do get a travel fee deposit into my account just for heading to the standby point, so I suppose it's not a complete fool's errand in that sense, but sometimes I can't help but feel like my time on this earth isn't being spent efficiently. It's something of a behind-the-scenes part-time job, and the work would be troublesome to explain to others if they asked. Of course, I can't just casually quit when I want to either. More importantly, this is a position I inherited from my master. I wouldn't walk away even if I could. Well then, how should I explain this to Amane and company? I don't think I'll be able to pass her off as a cookie peddler after all. I passed through Mihama Academy's school gate, dragging myself along on heavy feet. Ah, there you are! As expected, the instant I show my face in the classroom, Amane jumps all over me. Most of my classmates are gathered on the far side of the room, apparently having watched me from the window. And as I enter, they're all looking at me with questions in their eyes. Hey, who is that? The blondie just now. Blondie? Naturally, Amane is the one who steps forward to interrogate me, as if declaring herself the representative of the class. That said, the rest of the group doesn't seem to be disinterested either. Makina's staring at me with a dazed expression, and Sachi is clutching her hands together in front of her chest, waiting for my words with bated breath. As for Michiru, for some reason she's glaring at me like I kicked her puppy. Sakaki, on the other hand, is sitting primly in her seat reading a book, as if to announce she's above such things, but judging from the way she hasn't turned the page once since I came in, we probably got her attention as well. I told you already, didn't I? She's my superior for my part-time job. Superior? Superior, huh? Superior, is it? Yuji-kun, you have a part-time job? Yeah, I lost both my parents when I was a kid, so I have to earn my own living expenses. What sort of a job is it? It's a little difficult to summarize, but I get rid of garbage or crawl into various places and take care of the cleaning. It's what you would call dirty work. So that blondie works in cleaning too? That's right, but she's on the management side, so she doesn't get her hands dirty. What's her name? JB. Her real name is Harudera Yuria. JB's a pet name. She's Japanese? Sure doesn't look like it. She's a naturalized citizen. I think she's originally German? Don't really remember. Well, I pull out the chair from my seat and drop my bag on top of the desk with a deliberately loud thump. The questioning over now? If you satisfied your curiosity, then go sit down. Class is going to start. Bell rings. But the large woman who's been interrogating me, her expression still smoldering with irritation, pulls out the chair from the seat in front of mine and sits down heavily. Hey, Yuji-kun, I haven't asked you the most important question yet. What? Spit it out then. Your relationship with that person. She's not your girlfriend, is she? That's your big question? What a joke. It's not a laughing matter for me. Don't stick your nose in my face. You get excited? You got a mustache starting there. You're kidding! Yeah, just screwing with you. I'm going to break your nose, okay? Sounds fun. Give it a try. You little... Amane's punch is slow and lacking in serious intent. I dodge it easily with a slight swaying movement on my upper body. Think this over calmly. Do I look like a man who could be in a relationship? That's exactly why I'm suspicious. In your case, an older blonde foreign lover feels strangely plausible. I mean, don't you also know Principal Tachibana somehow? Well, yeah. Talk about fishy. What is? What were you doing before you came to this school? Well, so this question finally came up. On paper, I was studying abroad in Canada, or some similar lie they came up with for my forged personal history. But if they start pushing into that story, this will just drag on. Answering somewhat honestly now should make me for less trouble down the line anyway. Before I came here, I guess I was a freeloader of sorts. Freeloader? If you want to make it sound fancier, maybe a gigolo? I was being supported by an unrelated older woman. That's the blonde woman? No, she's a friend of the other woman. I started mooching off her after the first one died. You're awful. Yep. That sounds like a pretty shitty thing to do. The first person I mooch off of dies, go mooch off the other one. In exchange, she worked me brutally hard on the job. She doesn't have anything to complain about. Amane shuts her eyes, slaps her hand on her forehead, and heaves a heavy sigh. In any case, you don't have a girlfriend, right? Right. I'll admit I don't quite understand why that's the main point here, but I guess this stuff is on the mind of girls at this age. If you try to force your perspective onto everything, you'll lose sight of the bigger picture. Although she doesn't look entirely satisfied by my response, Amane mutters a brief, well, alright. Rises from the chair and heads back to her own seat. I watch until she finally sits down, then quickly turn to look behind me. What do you want? Immediately behind me, I find a bright red Michiru staring back at me. Were you listening? What? Go! Don't get the wrong idea. It's not like I'm interested or anything. I wasn't listening. I just happened to overhear. Don't go around making me hear your weird stories, got it? You're a real nuisance sometimes. Crossing her arms tightly in front of her chest, her face bright red, Michiru babbles frantically. In response, I thrust out my right hand in an energetic thumbs up. Nice tsundere, Michiru. You're such a jerk. If you don't want to talk about something, you should make it awkward to ask. Based on that theory, I tried spicing things up a little more in the reality, but who knows how much of it they believed. Of course, it's true that my parents died when I was still a kid, but that I was picked up by an older woman, and that I lived off the money she earned. After my master's death, I did get work from her friend JB in order to earn my keep. On top of that, it's thanks to her vouching for me that I'm able to attend a normal school like this in the first place. Now that I think about it, I didn't change the facts much at all. But then the more you focus on constructing believable lies, the less they tend to work. When you stick more or less to the truth, it's more easy to convince people, no matter how absurd the story sounds. Think I can work with this? Mihama Academy Schoolyard. No matter what sort of life you're living, you'll run into people who just won't listen to what you have to say. When words don't get through, the easiest alternative is beating them into submission. Certainly a bit of a rough solution, but when you're dealing with another man, it's at least an option. But when you're dealing with a woman, let alone a shrimp of a girl who doesn't come up to your shoulder, it's a different story. If you start swinging your fists around out of irritation under those circumstances, anyone would call it bullying the weak. It's bad style. Leaves an unpleasant taste in your mouth, too. What's called for in such situations is perseverance and patience. They're always saying we live in an age of technological wonders. So I've been waiting for someone to invent a machine you can stick onto your back to switch to Zen-like, instantly granting yourself infinite self-control. But despite the clear market potential, the world isn't yet such a convenient place. Well, no big deal. I'm pretty used to endurance tests by now. Oh, there's Makina. I was wondering when she was going to show up. I mean, we spent a lot of time hanging out with Amane earlier. It's been 5 minutes since I spotted Irisu Makina wandering aimlessly around the campus and called out, "What are you up to?" in a casual tone. On the bright side, she reacted to my voice and stopped dead in her tracks instead of fleeing. But the next step is proving a little more problematic. The girl's just staring up at my face. She hasn't said a word. Can you not speak Japanese? Silent as always. Makina shakes her head back and forth in denial, apparently having understood my question. Are you afraid of me, maybe? Her silence continues, and this time there's neither confirmation nor denial. It seems unlikely that she didn't understand the question, which would mean this one is in uncertain territory, somewhere between yes and no as far as I can guess. I'm repeating myself, but this sort of communication takes a lot of patience and persistence. I try to consciously consider things from Makina's point of view. A transfer student with an unclear background. What's more, a man 178 centimeters high. From the perspective of Makina, it might well be a little intimidating to have me towering above her. For the moment, I crouch down so my eyes are level with hers. It seems like you are wandering around the grounds. Are you looking for something? Nope. Makina speaks a single word in a quiet voice and once again shakes her head in denial. Then what were you doing? That's a point of some interest to me, but, well, if you get down to it, wherever she is and whatever she's doing is her own business, I suppose. I'm not a policeman. I don't have any reason to drag it out of her. In this case, it might be best to find some words to wrap this up cleanly. Give her a friendly goodbye and let this timid creature be on her way. But just as I reach this conclusion, Makina slowly moves her hand to the rear of her skirt, grabs something with her stubby fingers and pushes it in front of my eyes. What's this thing? At a glance, the item in her small hand is a toy-like object roughly the size of an egg, with an LCD screen buried into the center. A digital pet. What's that? On closer examination, there's some unknown lifeform or monster most closely resembling a chick, displayed in blocky pixels on the central LCD. It seems to be programmed with some cheap animations, about 3 patterns or so. Couldn't think of it. I remember reading a news article about this a few years ago. After developing the smallest 3-axis geomagnetism sensor in the world at the time, a certain company fed that technology into a children's electronic toy, which then became an explosive hit among grade schoolers. It's a pedometer, right? One of those things where the pet grows up faster the more you walk? Yeah, that's it. Nodding her head, Makina returns the pedometer in her hand to her waist. In other words, she wasn't looking for anything in particular. Her wandering itself was the objective. Walking's a good thing, since it's aerobic exercise without too much strain on the joints, and if you're going to walk anyway. Having some sort of visible result from the effort might make it feel more worthwhile. Well, I don't really want to go outside that much. Makina points at the school gate as she speaks. I see, it makes sense that she'd want to avoid crowded places given her extreme shyness. That would restrict her strolls to pacing around the school grounds, which would quickly get repetitive. So the digital pet serves as a distraction from that boredom, most likely. You like taking walks? Sorta. Kinda. Sorta, is it? Well, walking for fun at this age might be a little odd. It seems more like the hobby of an old man. You have any other interests, like reading, for example? Read any books lately? Books? Manga's fine too, whatever. To tell the truth, I've already heard from Amani that Makina often reads books, and reading is a hobby of mine as well. I think it's a decent common topic for starters. Mumbles, while gazing up at the sky. A quiz book. Quiz, huh? Was it interesting? What's the dangerous sweet that's life-threatening to observe with the naked eye? Life-threatening to observe with the naked eye. What kind of death ray weapon is that? And a sweet of all things. Some new tech from the West? Just looking at it is dangerous. So, me, it's probably some variety of optical weapon, something like an X-ray possessing mass, or some sort of beam saber style light-based killing tool. No, wait, just seeing it is dangerous. Some sort of super weapon that radiates a pulse to the receptors of the eyeball, using a flickering power to stimulate the brain cells and trigger accelerated apoptosis? Hold it. Hold it. This thing is a sweet, right? A sweet? Where the hell do we go from there? All I'm getting is some sort of chocolate pastry shooting out a mysterious beam of light. Pew pew pew? Don't know, I give up. What's the answer? Candy. What? Candy! C Andy. C and I. C and I. C and I. Oh, I get it. I missed that angle. C and I. Can I go now? Yeah. Sorry to hold you up. Without even a buyer later, Makina leaves the area at a trot as a fling for me. It doesn't seem like she outright hates me, though. Isn't it the opposite? I feel like putting this down for now and just picking it back up tomorrow if time permits. Or maybe, like... I'm definitely gonna probably be able to find time Wednesday, most likely. Highly likely I can just play more this Wednesday, if not on Monday. So I did save, just double checking to make sure it's all saved. So this will be right here for me. This will be right here for me when I'm ready to continue playing.